Hey, what's up, guys? Gons here for the Face Like the Sun YouTube channel. The Space and Naval Warfare Systems Command in San Diego, on behalf of DARPA, has awarded SRI International with an $8.5 million contract to create cybersecurity systems in the areas of privacy, preservation, computation, human data interaction, experimental systems, and metrics and analysis. And the fact that it comes from SPAWAR, which is the Space and Naval Warfare Systems Command, shows that there is some sort of privacy or protection of data that they're trying to increase with space-based weaponry. It just seems like they're really disclosing, if you will, the secret space program out into the public in certain ways. Space.com reported yesterday that Plasma rocket technology received NASA funding boost, where electric propulsion capabilities of the future are now in development from VASIMR, which is the Variable Specific Impulse Magnetoplasma rocket. And again, in my opinion, they've had stuff like this for a while, but it's at the point where things are becoming more and more publicized, so they have to deploy probably independent companies to quote unquote invent these technologies or make it work, so to speak, so that they can quote unquote implement them. But another space-based technology that they're talking about, the story came out about a week ago, people were talking about it, but it is this story of wild inflatable space elevator idea could lift people 12 miles up. And it's this idea of a space elevator, space tower that reaches 12 miles out into lower orbit in what would be the first space elevator. Now, the one thing interesting, and a lot of people have pointed this out, is the company that was granted the patent for this technology. They're called Thoth Technology. Now, if you don't know who Thoth is an Egyptian god, which in Egyptian legend overcame the curse of Ra, and he was the one that helped Isis work the ritual to bring Osiris back from the dead, and he drove the magical poison of Set from her son Horus with the power of his magic. And Thoth is described as having a bird face with a human body, and if you look at the Thoth website, you have Thoth Technologies Inc. and the logo of that bird face and the spiraling galaxy. And the way it's relative to some of the more esoteric teachings of Hermeticism is that Thoth was taken by the Greeks, and they combined him with their own god Hermes, and it became this conglomerate god called Hermes Trismegistus, and that's where all Hermeticism comes from, all branches of knowledge, writing, all kinds of stuff. And in fact, I have a whole section about Thoth in Age of Deceit 2, Alchemy, and the Rise of the Beast Image. If you guys haven't seen that film, go ahead and watch it. You can click on the link here or look for it in the description section. Came out a little over a year ago and talked a lot about transhumanism and its ties to the ancient practice of alchemy. And it's a full film, 3 hours long, and you guys can check it out right here on YouTube. And there's also a Canary Cry Radio episode that talks about Thoth and the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, not to be mistaken with the Emerald Tablets. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth was actually a channeled writing from the early 1900s, and it reads pretty much like the profile of Lucifer or Satan. So check that out too. I'll leave links to that as well. But very interesting that it's Thoth Technologies that would be granted a patent for this space elevator, which sounds a lot like the Tower of Babel reaching heaven. Although I think it's a little bit different what was going on there back in the days of Babel. But all these space developments and all this news about space comes right after a time when we are speculating in the world of conspiracy with the China explosion, and just recently the explosion in Japan, where an explosion damages a U.S. Army depot in Japan. The fact that this was a military base strike in Japan, it makes it really suspicious. Perhaps China was flexing their military or space weapon muscles, if you will, by attacking a U.S. military base in Japan. It would only make sense. All this happening, by the way, within the last 2 weeks. You had the Tianjin explosion, and then there were reports of the Shandong explosion, and now in Japan, U.S. military base explodes. And again, I think all this space weapon stuff is coming out, and that's why Space.com and, places like NASA and DARPA and all the stuff, they're starting to say, oh, we better, make the technologies, quote unquote, mainstream, so that, there's some plausible deniability, or at least, a seeming facade to make it seem like the developments are happening. And just one more thing about that first story with the cyber technology. SRI is a Stanford Research Institute. If you guys know anything about the history of Stanford Research Institute and the the CIA and the secret government and everything else, they're the ones who helped develop remote viewing back in the 70s. It was Stanford that helped in those projects. So Stanford is very closely tied in with the military underground, the military industrial complex. And so no surprises there. There's another weird thing about this whole virtual tie-in. Obviously, there's space technologies that are being developed where they're saying, oh, we're going to put cameras everywhere on the ISS and other places so people can travel to the ISS and the moon and Mars virtually. So that's one thing. But also, I think there is an overlap where there are dimensional beings that may be assisting in this entire process and perhaps trying to create the virtual world as a place they can traverse. Brother Josh messaged me with a link to a document that's in the vault, and I reported on the vault earlier this year. And there's a document that's in the FBI records with the Freedom of Information Act that has a very interesting page 22, that has some very interesting verbiage in it. Let me just read it for you, and then I'll wrap it up here. But basically it says this. It's a memorandum of importance, San Diego, California, July 8th, 1947. The memorandum is respectfully addressed to certain scientists of distinction, to important astronautical and military authorities, to a number of public officials, and to a few publications. Then he goes through here and talks about the flying saucer. And let me just read this. A very serious situation may develop at any time with regard to the flying saucer. If one of those should be attacked, the attacking plane will almost certainly be destroyed. In the public minds, this might create near panic and international suspicion. The principal data concerning those craft is now at hand and must be offered, no matter how fantastic and unintelligible it may seem to minds not previously instructed in thinking of this type. Then there's a list of 9 things here. Very interesting list. 1. Part of the discs carry crews. Others are under remote control. 2. Their mission is peaceful. The visitors contemplate settling on this, what looks like, I think, planet. 3. Those visitors are human-like, but much larger in size. 4. They are not excarnate Earth people, but come from their own world. 5. They do not come from any planet, as we use the word, but from an, and I can't read that word, maybe other? It's hard to read that word, planet, which interpenetrates with our own and is not perceptible to us. Very interesting. That sounds like interdimensional. Number 6, the bodies of the visitors and the craft also automatically materialize on entering the vibratory rate of our dense matter. Number 7, the disk possesses a type of radiant energy or array which will easily disintegrate any attacking ship. They re-enter the etheric at will, and so simply disappear from our vision without brace. Number 8, the region from which they come is not the astral plane, but corresponds to the locus or talus. Students of esoteric matters will understand these terms. Number 9, they cannot be reached by radio, but it probably can be by radar if a signal system can be devised for that apparatus. We give information and warning, and we can do no more. And it goes on here. This is a very interesting document, and tomorrow I will break it down a little bit more. But in the meantime, I just wanted to show you the document and also tell you guys that they've been doing stuff in space for a long time, and I think they've been getting help from these people, along with, the Nazis and all this stuff. All that's true, but I think behind it, these interdimensional entities may have been helping us in space all along. So there you have it. Let me know what your thoughts are on all this stuff in the comment section. Hope you guys have an awesome day. God bless.